Hey guys, what is up? This is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and welcome back to another movie review. In today's movie review, I'm going to be reviewing this movie which came out earlier this year, like a few months ago. And of course, I also got this Blu-ray for my birthday, my 24th birthday back in August 27th of this year. And this review is on The Blackening. The Blackening follows a group of, let's just say, African American friends reunited for a Juneteenth weekend getaway, only to find themselves trapped in a remote cabin with a masked killer who forces them to play a twisted board game by his rules, which they soon realize it ain't no mother game. Yeah. The movie plays out as like almost like a horror movie. It's kind of like a horror movie, while at the same time it's more like a satire. It's also a satire horror black comedy film. And yeah, and the movie's rated R for language, like pervasive language, violence, and drug use. The runtime is approximately 96 minutes. And yeah. So I recently watched this movie on my Apple TV Plus library because usually before filming my media update videos, I usually like redeem the codes to the new Blu-rays I got. And of course, like I said, I recently watched The Blackening on my Apple TV library after redeeming the code, and I gotta say, The Blackening I thought was a lot of fun. I actually thought it was a pretty good movie, which came out earlier this year, and I thought it was also pretty funny too, because this movie has some pretty funny humor in this film. Because I think this film had some pretty funny humor here and there. And there's not really that much jump shocks in this film, because there's not really that much jump scares that were featured in this film. I think from what I remember while I was watching this film, I think there was only two minor jump scares, I think. But mostly throughout most of the movie, it's basically played out almost like a satire black comedy film. While at the same time, there are some parts where it blends in with the horror genre, and it's kind of like how this movie's kind of like poking fun of almost like some other horror films which came out in the previous decade or so. Oh yeah, and it's like, and IndieWire says the first great horror comedies of the post Get Out era. Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those films where it's kind of like almost like Ready or Not, and it's like it's kind of like almost those types of horror comedy films where it's almost like horror satire comedies, where it's kind of like this movie's kind of like almost like Ready or Not, as well as some other films like that I've seen before. And I gotta say, all the people that were in this film, they actually did a real good job in this film. It looked like everyone, it looked like all the cast members were having fun working on this film, and yeah, and even the director of this film is actually Tim Story. Tim Story, who's also known for directing the Fantastic Four films, and of course he directed the 2021 Tom and Jerry film. And of course, he directed Barbershop as well, which I still have not seen Barbershop, but maybe I might check it out one day. Maybe I might check out the Barbershop films one day, since I heard pretty good things about it. But yeah, and I gotta say, Tim Story actually puts his direction very well here in this film, The Blackening, and it's also one of my favorite horror films that came out this year as well. It's not really considered to be in my top 10 favorite movies of the year in general. I would just say this is probably like in my top 10 or 20 favorite horror films which came out this year. Even though I think I've only seen less than 10 this year in terms of horror movies for Halloween month, because I felt like waiting for October so I can watch this movie, and here we are right here. I did. And the movie's released by Lionsgate and MRC. And the special features include audio commentary with director Tim Story and writers Tracy Oliver and Dwayne Perkins. Do the Right Thing, They Can't All Talk First, Shall We Play a Game, Cabin in the Woods, and of course, Who's the Blackest game show, and more theatrical trailer. And it's pretty much how like a group of black friends, like, you know, African American friends, they all have to do whatever they can to try and win the game, so that way they can escape, they can leave the cabin in the woods. And they kind of do like almost like make some references here and there. like a like which kind of reminds me of that film which I've never seen, but maybe someday if I get a chance I will. The Cabin in the Woods. That's what, because whenever I hear that line in this film, it kind of reminded me of that movie, The Cabin in the Woods. And oh yeah, and plus there was also a part where they actually referenced and brought up the O'Reilly Auto Parts jingle. Yeah, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah. Yeah, because that was a pretty that was a pretty fun line that was featured in this film, and plus most of us know that commercial jingle, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah, but yeah, so and I gotta say, when it comes to the humor that was in the Blackening, when it comes to the humor itself was actually handled very well in this film, and yeah, and basically this is pretty basically like a funny horror comedy film. But if you're not interested in checking out this film, and if it's not the kind of comedy that you would expect in this film, then this movie's probably not going to be for you. And of course, maybe you don't really have to watch this before Halloween or something like that, or maybe you can watch this during Halloween month in October or any year. But yeah, so overall, The Blackening was a fun movie, and I'm gonna give The Blackening 4 stars out of 5. So yeah, I recommend checking out this movie if you're looking for something funny and maybe something horror related that's kind of blends in with the horror genre. And if you're looking for something fun to watch on for Halloween month, then I recommend checking out this one. It's a good watch for 2023. And there you have it, guys. That's my movie review on The Blackening. And that's going to be it for this video, so make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying, goodbye everybody, and that's about it.